I'm talking today to Pam Spelling. Pam is the Program Manager for Diverse Abilities at Centacare North Queensland. Firstly, thank you, Pam, for giving me your time so that I can interview you concerning the topic of employment for people with disabilities. Could you give me some background information about Centacare and what your job as Program Manager for Diverse Abilities entails?
Centacare is the community services arm of the Townsville Diocese Catholic Church. We cover a significant geographic region from Mount Isa down to across to Richmond, Julia Creek, up to Normanton, across to Cardwell, Townsville, and down to Bowen. We have about 8 sites, and primarily we work with a range of people experiencing some sort of disadvantage or issue in their lives. We have diverse abilities, which is where I come in. Diverse Ability runs a few programs. We essentially provide respite, individualised support, a volunteer program, a program for bubbers aged birth to 5, a range of supports for children and adults with disabilities that need support. We're funded by the Queensland Department of Communities, Child Safety and Disability Services, so the Disability Services arm. My role entails overseeing all those 5 program areas, ensuring that we meet both the government requirements in terms of our meeting the obligations under our service agreements, making sure that we have good standards and adhere to best practice, make sure the staff are trained and equipped to know how to work with people and children and adults with disabilities and their family members, to making sure that we fulfil the mission and vision of Centacare to provide justice and hope to and for people, and make sure that the staff really do the best that they can do for the people that we support, and that we help the people with disabilities achieve their potential in whatever way that they wish to pursue things in the community.
Oh, that's wonderful. So when a person with a disability is seeking employment, where would they seek information in regards to employment? Would that be yourself, or would they have to go to a different department?
Well, if it's a person that already accesses our service, there's a couple of options, I guess. The support workers and the facilitator will support the person to attend or get involved with a disability network, a disability employment network, a DEN. And there's a few in Townsville or across Australia. They're federally funded employment agencies that specialise in supporting people with disabilities to gain employment. But sometimes we can help people as well, just through the links that the staff have or that we have. Sometimes we can do that as well to help people get employment or some sort of work experience. So it just depends on the interest or the particular circumstances at any given time and where we're at in terms of our network. So,
So what would you say would be the most difficult aspect of people seeking employment when they do have a disability? Would that be connecting to people, or their experience, or lack of job experience or work experience?
I think it's all of the above. I think it's quite broad. I think it stems from right before people even pursue employment. I think a lot of people with disabilities haven't been encouraged to pursue employment. I think, unfortunately, the community and sometimes families, not always, families, because because they are very protective of the person with disability, or just not aware of what's out there and how people with disabilities can be supported to gain employment, can have low expectations of the person with disability. So therefore, their person with disabilities' educational prospects might not have always been encouraged or supported as much as perhaps possible. So it can start from people with disabilities themselves or others around them having very low expectations. So that's obviously a barrier to gaining employment, because then the community also at times might not see what the person's potential and talents and gifts are. But then, okay, once someone is looking for employment and they're equipped and they've got some level of confidence or ability to and an interest in applying for jobs, then the barriers can be broad again. It can be transport. People with disabilities can struggle to get to interviews. Public transport isn't always an option, or is too challenging, because just most basically, not all buses in Townsville, for example, are wheelchair accessible. Or for people that have impaired decision-making ability, it's not always, public transport isn't always an option for people, because there might be attitude issues or timetable issues. Right through to, or people, and there's taxis of course, but that's not affordable for a lot of people with disabilities because they're on a pension. So it can be right from transport to then people with disabilities not being equipped to understand or have the skills, I should say, to write a resume or write an application. And that's where employment agencies can help, or we can help. Right through to then the attitudes of the prospective employer, that sometimes they're not sure about employing a person with disability, not sure that they can do the job. Particularly often people with disabilities won't have the experience. And so without experience, then people don't know that they can do it, the prospective employer. So it's sort of a vicious circle then.
I was going to ask about, did you think businesses think it's difficult to employ someone with a disability? So
I think some do. I don't say that all do. Obviously Centrecare's employed me. I'm an example of one that they believed in me and gave me a chance, as have a lot of other employers for me. But I think when someone presents as perhaps not as articulate as perhaps others, or has impaired decision-making abilities, then people can be a bit frightened or unsure. And that's where I think employment agencies or other non-government organisations can be really helpful to try and break down those barriers and talk to prospective employers, and in a way sort of sell that particular person to say, well look, this is what they can do, this is how they can do it. They might not arrive at it like everyone else, but they can do this or they can do that, and give the person a go. And there are schemes and programs that prospective employees can apply for, with getting subsidised when they put someone on with a disability, or